Okay, we're coming online. By now, you may have heard there's been another mass shooting at a church. This at a Church of Jesus Christ and Latter-day Saints location outside of Flint, Michigan. There are reports of multiple casualties and that the suspect is down, and that the church is now on fire. The church is now on fire. So that is what we are going on right now. We are checking with local affiliates in the area to see what kind of information that they are gathering. Let me go ahead and pull up some images here. So we do have some information coming in from local affiliates right now. You can see images of the fire. Um, Presumably, most people were able to get out before the fire consumed the building. We just don't know at this time. Local media is reporting at least 8 people were shot. Investigators are saying they believe the shooter started the fire inside the church and that the shooter is down, which is usually the terminology they use when they say that the shooter either took their own life or was killed by law enforcement. But here you see the photos coming in of that fire at the church where this mass shooting took place. This is coming from local reporters in and around Grand Blanc Township is where this Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints mass shooting took place. Of course, this is a Mormon church, and that there were reports of several casualties. I believe 8 was a number that was floating around among local reporters, and that the shooter is down. So the shooter is presumably dead. Whether they took their own life or were killed by law enforcement, we don't yet know. You can see this is what the church looked like on Google Maps, and this is what it looks like now as a large fire has broken out. Again, we're tracking local affiliates for information. This is a pretty small television market, so the response has been slow going. I can tell you that in very small television markets, there is a skeleton crew of staff, if at all, on a Sunday morning, as not a lot of stations do a lot of morning news on Sundays, especially in small television markets. Um, the shooting was reported at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc Township, Michigan. There are multiple victims. The shooter is down. The church, as you can see, is on fire. Uh, there's no word on the number of victims or their conditions. Other media outlets have reported as many as 8 potential casualties. We don't know their conditions. A reunification site has been set up nearby for families checking on loved ones. Right now, we're just waiting for additional information to come in. This is just the latest violent act against a church. We had the Annunciation Church in Michigan not that long ago. There are other photos floating around of the church fully engulfed, firefighters using ladders to try and put it out, but it looks to be a losing battle. Um, Again, too early to say anything about the suspect or their motives, but it appears the suspect, one way or the other, is dead. This all happened just within the last hour or so. Right now, there's just very little information coming in. As we said, this is just the latest act of violence that the country has been dealing with, particularly when it comes to churches. Um, we had a mass shooting at a church in Minnesota just recently, where that individual uh, crashed his vehicle and opened fire on the church, and could have been much worse had somebody outside not spotted him and returned fire. Uh, but right now, the situation looks particularly difficult. I want to. Drudge Report is not citing its source for the photo, so I'm going to try and pop this up for you. This is a photo that Drudge Report is circulating, and you can see the flames from that church. You see the flag outside the church, and you see the ladder truck trying to put the flames out. This is a large brick building, but it is clearly fully engulfed. Judging by the photos, I'd say this is where the steeple was. Again, this took place in Grand Blanc, Michigan, which is not far from Flint, according to sources there. But we are just working to get more information right now. And that, of course, is always the most difficult part in these first minutes and hours of a shooting. We're not aware of any live streams from the area. It's a very very small television market, so I can tell you that I'm not sure if any of the TV stations up there do morning news, but even if they do, they're very, very bare bones staffed on a Saturday, or excuse me, on a Sunday morning. Uh, so not very well prepared to cover this event quickly. Um, but there are reporters on the scene. Again, this was at a Mormon church, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, in Grand Blanc, Michigan. The church reportedly set on fire by the shooter, who is dead, and that church is now fully engulfed. Again, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to share them in the chat section. There are unconfirmed reports of 6 to 8 casualties in this shooting. No word on their condition. Scanner traffic indicates this is now a 4-alarm fire. Unconfirmed reports that there may have been additional people trapped inside. This appears to be a video that's shared by retired firefighter, semi-retired firefighter Gary Ludwig. I'm going to pull this up here shortly. I just want to kind of give it a quick check. I'm not sure where if he actually shot this or if he's sharing this from a source. But it appears to show, let me zoom out on this. It appears to show the church on fire. Try and back this out here. Again, this is from Gary Ludwig. That appears to show the church fully engulfed right now. There are unconfirmed reports that there may have been people trapped inside when the fire started. We don't know. The condition of those. Obviously, you see all of the cars in the parking lot from the people attending services today. We're told that there's a staging area set up nearby for people to check on survivors. At last unconfirmed report, there were 6 to 8 casualties in the shooting. We don't know the status of everyone else from the fire. We know that the shooter is reportedly dead. We don't know if they took their own life or if they were shot and killed by authorities. We just received a statement from Michigan's Governor Gretchen Whitmer. She says, quote, "My heart is breaking for the Grand Blanc community. Violence anywhere, especially in a place of worship, is unacceptable. I am grateful to the first responders who took action quickly. We will continue to monitor this situation and hold the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc close." Again, that's the statement from Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer just about 3 minutes ago. Again, right now details are very, very slim. We do know that there was a shooting at the church before this fire was allegedly set by the shooter, who is dead. We don't know how the suspect died, if it was at their own hand or at the hand of law enforcement or somebody else, perhaps at the church. We do know that it is suspected that the shooter is the one who set fire to the church. We don't know the condition of everyone else, if they got out safely. We don't know whether or not law enforcement was able to get the gunshot victims out safely. But clearly, you can see that the church is a total loss. It's destroyed. My goodness. The unofficial word is that this is 6 to 8 victims from the shooting. We don't know the condition of those inside. So the sheriff of the county posted a very short video on social media saying, confirming that the shooter is dead, not confirming much else other than the fact that this is his words, an extremely dynamic situation. So clearly law enforcement is doing what it can to get a handle in the chaos on the condition of everybody who is inside, which is obviously difficult to do when all of this is happening at the same time. Firefighters obviously doing everything they can, but I think it's pretty clear that this church is destroyed at the hands of a mass shooter. I believe this is a reporter on scene. And this is actually a podcaster in the area that's on the scene. That says a man. This sounds right out of the Minnesota situation. This woman on the scene claims that a man rammed his car into the church and started shooting. And that they saw many people leaving the church with blood on their clothes. Some of these other pictures, I can't confirm that these pictures are from the scene, so I'm not going to show those. I'm highly confident this video is from the scene, though, via Gary Ludwig on Twitter. Highly recommend you check him out. He has got some great materials from firefighters that are doing everything they can. But clearly, there's not much that can be done right now. The hope is everyone who could get out did get out before the flames consumed the building. It is a large building, so hopefully that is the case. There are some earlier photos indicating that the fire started right in the center of the building, so likely in the Hall of Worship. FBI Director Kash Patel just tweeting out, "We are tracking reports of the horrific shooting and fire at the LDS Church in Grand Blanc, Michigan. FBI agents are on the scene to assist local authorities. Violence in a place of worship is a cowardly and criminal act. Our prayers are with the victims and the families during this terrible tragedy." That from FBI Director Kash Patel just about a minute ago. The official report is that multiple people were shot. There are unconfirmed reports of 6 to 8 victims. We don't know their conditions right now. We know that the shooter is dead. We don't know how they died. There's no word yet on if everybody who could get out did get out before the fire was started. Attorney General Pam Bondi now commenting, saying, "I am receiving briefings about what appears to be a horrific shooting and fire at an LDS church in Grand Blanc, Michigan. FBI and ATF agents are en route to the scene. Such violence at a place of worship is heartbreaking and chilling. Please join me in praying for the victims of this terrible tragedy." Again, there are unconfirmed reports that, like in Minnesota, not that long ago at another place of worship, that the shooter rammed their vehicle into the church before opening fire. And then law enforcement says it appears that they set the fire before they themselves were killed. We don't know if they took their own life or were shot by someone else. We're waiting for any more information from law enforcement at the scene. Obviously, this is an extremely fluid situation, as the building is essentially burning down at this point in time. CNN is reporting, sources tell CNN that children are among the wounded from today's shooting. Patients were still being taken from the church to a hospital as of a short time ago. That's the latest that we're seeing from media sources right now. So again, if you're just joining us, there's been a mass shooting at a Mormon church outside of Flint, Michigan, in Grand Blanc. Uh, we're told that there is at least 6 to 8 shooting victims. We don't know their conditions. We know that the suspect is dead. We don't know whether they took their own life or were shot by law enforcement or somebody else. Law enforcement says that the shooter is the one who set this fire at the church after the shooting took place. You can see this video, which was taken at least a half hour or more ago, that the church is likely a total loss. We don't know if everybody else got out safely before the fire consumed the building, but this shooting happened about an hour and a half ago, so it has not taken long for this building to become consumed by the flames. I'm going to go ahead and keep the stream up, and we're going to try and add information and pop in when we do get new information. But for now, we will leave the feed up. And if you want to share any questions or comments, feel free to do so in the chat as well.
that everybody's ready. So, everybody ready? Okay. Hi, I'm Grand Blanc Township Police Chief William Rennie. That's R-E-N-Y-E. Here to give you some preliminary details on an incident that happened earlier today at 10:25 a.m. within Grand Blanc Township. First off, I'd like to say our thoughts and prayers go out to the victims of this incident, which is completely unnecessary and avoidable. The incident that we're going to talk about here today, as I said, was happening at 10:25 a.m. at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which is located at 4285 McCandless Road. During this incident, what we know right now is that a 40-year-old suspect from Burton, he's a male, he drove his vehicle through the front doors of the church. He then exited his vehicle, firing several rounds at individuals within the church. 10 gunshot victims have been transported to local hospitals at this time, including one who has been deceased. Officers who were trained immediately responded to the area. One was a DNR officer, and then one was a Grand Blanc Township officer, where they met the suspect and they engaged in gunfire with that particular individual, neutralizing that suspect, and that suspect is no longer with us. As I said, it is a 40-year-old male from Burton. During all this incident as well, there was a fire that occurred, and we believe that was deliberately set by the suspect. We do believe that we will find additional victims once we have that scene secure. That fire was just extinguished by the Grand Blanc Township Fire Department within the past hour. So where we go from here is we have investigators. We're going to do search warrants on the suspect's residence. We're going to find out if there was a motive. We're going to go through cell phone records, things like that. We had the FBI, they're devoting 100 agents to this area because, as you can imagine, there's a lot of witnesses that were within the church, and that is a lot of witness information, statements that we have to obtain. So I'd like to thank all the agencies who responded, the City of Grand Blanc, Genesee County, Oakland County Sheriff's Office, Flint Township Police Department, the DNR, the State Police, and the ATF. I will provide additional information for you at 5 p.m., but I am willing to take any questions that you have that I could possibly answer right now.
Chief, can you talk about the progress of events? Did the suspect set the fire, then get back inside of his vehicle and then ran the front door, or did it all happen at the same time?
So from what I understand, and again, this is just a preliminary investigation right now, from what I have been briefed on, is that he rammed the vehicle through the front door, exited, then started firing shots. We are still trying to determine exactly when and where that fire ended up coming from and how it got started. So we believe it was deliberately set, though, by the suspect.
Were they in an active service when this happened?
Yes, the service was active. There was hundreds of people within the church.
Are you sure it's only one suspect at this point, or is it possible other people helped setting the fire, what have you?
Yes, it is one suspect that we know of at this point. We do not believe that there's a threat to the public. We believe that we have the guy who did this.
Any?
Sir.
Could you comment at all on the severity of the injuries at this time?
We have a couple in critical condition. Like I said, one is deceased. The rest of them are in stable condition.
So a couple, meaning three or two, I'm sorry?
One deceased. The suspect is deceased as well. And then multiple victims are in critical condition. We do believe that we will find some additional victims once we find the area where the fire was.
Any word on the weapon yet?
An assault rifle.
So, any, as far as ammunition, did he have a lot of ammunition?
That I don't know of yet, and I could get you later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Bill.
Hey.
Was the suspect known to authorities, and did he have any connection to anyone who was in that church?
Right now, we don't have any of that information, but I'm confident that our investigators, along with the FBI, we're gonna end up uncovering all that information and provide that at a later time for you.
Chief, to clarify, you said there may be additional victims like inside the church, or?
Yes, where the fire was. So, and the reason why we can't confirm that just yet is because it was a large fire, and we do believe that there was people up there that were near that fire, and they were unable to get out of the church. So we do believe that we will find additional victims once we're able to search that, once there's no signs of a fire reigniting.
So do you believe then that the victims that are still there, they succumbed to fire injuries or gunshots, or you're not sure yet?
That I'm not sure, but I could provide all that information hopefully at 5 p.m.
The shots were fired in the.
Shots were fired,
Right.
yes.
And he had no idea how many though at this point.
No idea how many at this time. Yeah.
Can you
Sure.
describe the church? Is there like a worship area and then like a gathering space or something like that? I mean, can you-
That I have not been in, so I can't tell you the layout.
Chief, can you kind of describe the process of how things change for tactical response when there's an active fire? Every training I've seen, it's always been a building that has not been on fire. So how do you then deal with an active shooter when you have that situation happening as well?
Well, we are here at Grand Blanc Township, and there's a lot of agencies within the state of Michigan. We are specifically trained to go right to the threat in an active shooter situation. And I'm proud of my guys and the DNR who responded to this scene, who immediately took that suspect out, so there was no additional victims. So it was a great job by our staff. Okay.
So I understand it was a law enforcement officer that neutralized the suspect?
Yes, there's 2 law enforcement officers involved. I will be back here at 5 p.m. to give you additional information and hopefully answer some of the questions that you guys went over here today. So, okay? Supervisor Bennett?
I could just go sit in here. I'm so sorry. Thank you so much. Sorry.
Well, Scott Bennett, Grand Blanc Township Supervisor. Scott, S-C-O-T-T, Bennett, B-E-N-N-E-T-T. First, let me say we are heartbroken. This kind of violence doesn't happen in our community, and we are heartbroken that it came to Grand Blanc Township. And we're going to do everything we can to support the families, the victims, and our community getting through this situation. And it's something that no community ever wants to have. And we're going to do our best to do everything we can. We appreciate the outpouring of support from our elected leaders from both national and state in offering their assistance, and we probably will take them up on their offers. So we appreciate that very much, and we appreciate the community reaching out to us also. So the details are yet to come, as Chief Rennie has said, and we'll wait for a little bit later today when we have the rest of the situation assessed. But it may take a little while to do that. But thank you for all the support, and I'm sure that the families and the victims are going to need that. It's a tragedy that nobody wants to encounter. Thank you.
Chief, before you step out, can you go over the process for family members, where you want them to go, who they should call to get more information and reunification?
Yeah, so those family members, they are in a secure area right now. They have been taken over to Trillium, so that's where the FBI will interview them and then release them from there. So.
I mean, in terms of anybody who might be at home who was not there, who wants to check in to see if their loved one is okay, is there a number or a place that you want them to go?
Yes, you could call the Grand Blanc Township Police Department, 810-424-2611. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Okay, so that was the latest from authorities in Michigan. The new information, at least 1 dead, 9 injured in this mass shooting when a 40-year-old man drove his vehicle into the entrance of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints building, into the entrance. There are unconfirmed reports that the truck was included a improvised explosive device. That device did not go off. It was neutralized by authorities, reportedly. The gunman opened fire inside the church and began setting the fire. 2 law enforcement officers arriving on scene opened fire on the gunman, killing him. There were hundreds inside at the time of the shooting, which was carried out with an assault-type rifle. CNN reports children are among the gunshot victims. Again, 1 dead. I believe they said 2 are in critical condition, and the other 7 that were shot are in stable condition. But there is a real fear here. We don't know how many were inside that may have died in the shooting or died in the fire. We don't know how many got out, but there were hundreds inside. We're hopeful that in the chaos, many people did get out. We just don't know yet. There is a staging area set up for families and survivors, reunification site. But again, we just don't know how bad this is right now. The law enforcement leaders made it sound like some people didn't get out and may have died in the fire, may not have been shot. And if a lot of people were trapped inside, the final tally could be horrifying, if it isn't horrifying enough already. So that's the latest. We're going to go ahead and end the stream, and we'll try and bring you updates later today. Of course, thank you everyone for joining us, and we will continue to follow this throughout the day.